NBA players live a life of fame and luxury, but some throw it all away.
Ja Morant is in a world of trouble.
Spend years in federal prison.
Involved in a career-ending accident.
These are 11 NBA players that killed their careers. And first, we gotta talk about Miles Bridges, because he was about to make hundreds of millions as an NBA star.
I was so hurt.
One
about this
mistake
story.
ruined it all. Yeah. 2022, Miles had his breakout season. He was dunking on everyone, averaging the most points per game in his career, and with LaMelo Ball at his side, he was looking like the future of Charlotte. But in the 2022 offseason, Miles decided to risk it all, because just weeks before NBA free agency, he was hearing that teams were about to offer him a max contract of up to $130 million, and Miles' mouth was watering. So one night, he decided to go out to the club and celebrate, but before he knew it, he was on Instagram Live, flashing a cup of lean for the world to see. What do you know? When the internet found out, it blew up in his face. You got people calling the guy dumb, irresponsible, and not worthy of a max contract. And if that wasn't bad enough, shortly after, Miles put the final nail in the coffin when news broke that Miles was arrested for allegedly getting into a physical altercation with his wife. And after pleading guilty, Miles was sentenced to 3 years of probation, costing himself a contract worth hundreds of millions, and hasn't played in the NBA since. Damn, that's a fat L. But Sebastian Telfair took an even fatter L, as this guy went from posing with LeBron to being an inmate in federal prison. Yeah. In 2003, scouts had Sebastian right up there with LeGoat, saying the two would be the future faces of the NBA. But while LeBron became a superstar, Sebastian became a walking disappointment. By 2007, he was only averaging 6 points a game and barely even played. But there was way bigger problems than that though, because later that same year, he made one of the dumbest decisions of his life. One night back home in New York, he was out with the boys, going 77 miles per hour in a 45. So before he knew it, his car was pulled over and being ransacked by the police, with cops finding an entire arsenal in his back seat. And after being arrested and charged with felony possession of a weapon, you'd think Sebastian would have been scared straight. But no. Despite being traded just days later, the guy continued to act a fool, getting arrested again, bouncing around from team to team, until 2015, when he was out of the league for good. And if all that wasn't bad enough, Sebastian finally met his fate in 2019, when he was found guilty of another weapons charge and sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
My wife and them driving me crazy. They know I'm in New York. Where else y'all want me to go? My family here.
Man, stop
Where else y'all
yelling.
want me to go?
To jail. Stop
That's
yelling.
Just sad. But this next player is just fat, because Oliver Miller lost his NBA career by eating himself out of the league. See, in 1992, when Oliver got drafted, there was one thing standing between him and having a good career. Food. I mean, as a rookie, the guy weighed over 280 pounds. So not only was he medically obese, but it also made him one of the fattest players in the league. Luckily for Oliver, though, he was able to overcome his weight and have a decent start to his career. But it's not always how you start, it's how you finish. And this man finished every meal, because by his 7th season in the NBA, Oliver had eaten so much, he'd gained over 100 pounds, weighing over 380, and becoming the fattest player in NBA history. Just moving became difficult for him. Never mind playing in the NBA.
He's
so
got
as time went on, he became heavier. Injuries were piling up, and by the age of 30, Oliver had officially eaten himself out of pro basketball. Man, he didn't just kill his career, he killed the scale.
NFL,
Jay Williams almost killed himself, because one joyride ruined his NBA dreams. In the summer of 2003, Jay was coming off his rookie season with the Bulls, and after a pretty decent year, people were expecting him to take a leap and become the best Bull since Michael Jordan. But Jay wanted to be like Mike, a little too much, because he went out and copped a brand new motorcycle, exactly like Jordan's. And during his very first offseason, the kid wasn't in the gym training. He was riding that new whip around like crazy, doing one of the most dangerous things a person can do. Ride a motorcycle with no license and with no helmet. The guy was not thinking. And boy, did he come to regret it. Cause on one fateful day, Jay was leaving his friend's house to go home. But instead of just cruising away, he thought it'd be a good idea to rev his engine to try and look cool. And what happened next changed everything.
I get on my bike, and as I'm pulling away, I decide to rev the engine. And in the middle of the third rev, all I hear is run, run, run. And out of nowhere, like this bike went from me going 35, 40 miles per hour, like in a matter of an instant, to shit, I'm going 75 miles per hour, man. And I look up and I just see this utility pole and I'm going directly for this thing. And it was like that sound of metal smashing and trying to be molded together.
Oh my God.
And the only thing I could think about was basketball.
In a split second, Jay had crashed badly, and while he was fortunate enough to escape with his life, it was in the hospital that he learned exactly how lucky he was, because the doctors determined he had severed a main artery, tore 3 ligaments in his leg, broke his pelvis, and required multiple emergency surgeries, getting 100 staples in his leg, and spent the next year in recovery, officially putting an end to his NBA career.
Bro, that is so crazy. I never knew that, bro. That is insane.
Man, screw basketball. I'm just glad the guy's alive. But this next player's living it up too much, because my man Zion Williamson is doing everything he can to kill his NBA career.
He's really
See,
trying.
this dude's a freak. When he came into the league, people thought he was going to be the next big thing. Problem was, he was thick as hell. I'm talking 285
this nigga, he
pounds.
chubby.
But at first, even with all the weight, Zion was still looking like a beast. Until his first 4 seasons, where he went on to miss 214 games. That's over 2.5 years of basketball missed. So now no one's certain if Zion's body will hold up. But even if he gets healthy, he's having way bigger problems off the court. Because in 2023, he had his darkest secret exposed to the world. When out of nowhere, he announced that he and his girlfriend were expecting a baby girl. But there was one person who saw this announcement that was pissed. Famous actress Mariah Mills, who had the biggest meltdown of all time, saying Zion's a cheater. He's been messing with tons of other women, and that she had receipts too. But it got way worse, because even though she had her Twitter account banned, Mariah's still trying to expose Zion. And at this rate, after everything the Pelicans have been through, I wouldn't be surprised if they're finally over it. So Zion's got to get his act together and start focusing on his career more, or else he's gonna blow it. But look, NBA.
My thing is sweetheart, you putting all this on the internet ain't gonna make it better for you. It's not, niggas ain't gonna go at Zion and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We not doing that. Like, do better.
Players don't always kill their basketball career, because Paul Pierce killed his TV career. See, after 19 seasons in the NBA, Paul retired from basketball and got a different job as a full-time analyst for ESPN. And it was here that Paul turned himself into one of the most captivating, most profound personalities in all of sports.
Yes!
I never watched this game.
Oh
man,
no!
this man
I
goofy.
could probably
He is
get a layup
goofy.
versus the Lakers right now.
He be saying some
I
goofy
see all
shit.
these kids doing a step back is because I pioneered.
Yeah,
Goofy.
Paul was full of hot takes. But in 2021, he dropped something even
This was
hotter,
lit,
because he
though.
went on Instagram Live and started wilding out, playing cards, and getting felt up by his own personal masseuse.
I still don't understand what was wrong with this.
Oh my!
This man obviously is having a great time.
Y'all hate. Stop hating.
You look
Man,
like a
they
belligerent
really couldn't handle the
drunk.
truth,
Wow.
and neither could E
Who the
ESPN, because they thought this type of behavior was completely inappropriate for a company, and they fired his ass the next day, costing him his TV job and over $1.5 million in salary. But look, it's not only players that kill their careers. It's coaches too, because Ime Udoka made one mistake
This nigga's
that
an
ruined his
idiot, bro.
entire life. See, in 2022, Ime had made it. The man became the head coach of the Boston Celtics, one of the greatest teams in the NBA. I mean, the previous year, they had gotten all the way to the NBA Finals.
This was a
and if
good
that wasn't
team,
enough
bro.
for Ime, the man got engaged to Nia Long, a Hollywood actress.
the baddest.
2022 looked like
One
it
of
was
the
going to be
baddest.
Ime's year. But there was one big problem, because everyone thought Ime was working overtime, trying to coach Boston to a title, when in reality, he was putting in work with one of the Celtics' office girls. Yeah, the guy was cheating on his celebrity wife with one of his
Chewing the fuck out that
co-workers.
gum.
That is a big no-no, not just for Nia, but for all of Hollywood, the NBA media, and most importantly,
They was
the
bigging
Celtics
this up.
organization, who
was
just
bigging
a
this
day
up.
later decided to suspend Ime for the rest of 2023, eventually replacing him as head coach after only one season. Damn, he lost his job and his wife.
And
He
his
should have
wife.
just kept it in his pants, man. And
Facts.
Myers Leonard should have kept his mouth shut, because he killed his career with one word. See,
do?
after
What'd he do?
After 8 years in the NBA, Myers was finally coming into his own on the Miami Heat, working his way up to being a starter and signing a $20 million contract. But in 2021, Myers completely destroyed his shoulder and needed surgery, sidelining him for the rest of the season. And going through an injury is tough as hell, but for Myers, it meant he could spend a little more time on his hobby, streaming video games on Twitch.
That's
And
what's
look,
up.
He wasn't getting a ton of views or anything, but the guy was having some fun, playing Call of Duty, messing around with chat, until March 8th, 2021, when he was caught in 4K saying a religious slur.
Cowards don't snipe me, you
And
What
what's
did he
crazy
say?
is that, according to him, he didn't even know what the word meant, but it was too little too late. The
What
clip
did he
was so
say?
shocking that it sent the internet into a frenzy. He was suspended and fined 50 grand by the NBA, traded by the Heat, and then cut by the Thunder. At just 28
Damn.
years old, Myers' NBA career was dead in the
Anti-Semitic
water.
slur.
What is going through your mind?
That I felt like I had just destroyed my life and everything that I worked for.
Y'all gotta let me know in the comment section what he said, because I
People
don't.
had every right
I'll look
to,
it up, but
I suppose,
I want
make
y'all to
assumptions
comment.
about me. People were going to have to in the media comment on this, and I understand. I do. I said, you better go handle this and to show people what's in your heart, but I thought that it'd be easier to be dead than it would be to deal with what had just happened, because I want everyone to like me. I don't hate anybody.
yeah.
I would never intentionally hurt anybody.
Myers knew he screwed up, but he also knew that he wanted to make up for it if it was the last thing he did. So he spent the next 2 years educating himself and making sure no one else makes the same mistake that he did. That's why in 2023, he was lucky enough to get a second life in the NBA,
That's what's
signing
up,
with the
man.
Milwaukee Bucks,
That's what's
where
up.
he's just trying to be a better player
That's a good
and a
pickup
better
for the
person.
Bucks too, because he's a
But
good
look,
shooter.
there's one player that didn't want to be better. He just wanted to
Starbury?
be different. Because we got to talk about the man who gave up his NBA career to become a Chinese superstar. Meet Stephon Marbury, who in the early 2000s built one of the hottest brands in the NBA, Starbury. Guy was the superstar point guard of the New York Knicks,
Yo.
selling his own line of sneakers
I had a
by
pair of
day
these.
and grabbing dubs by night. But he also had a couple of
bad.
screws loose. See, you couldn't tell Stephon nothing. Guy was beefing with his teammates, his coaches, everyone around him. So even though he went on to become a two-time All-Star, eventually people got tired
That
of
nigga
putting
was
up
old
with
as
him.
hell.
And the breaking point came in 2009, when from completely out of the blue, Stephon recorded a video of himself swallowing Vaseline.
Take some Vaseline and swallow it,
What? For what?
and it'll help you.
Help you what?
Is this the guy you want running your team? Well, the NBA didn't think so, because we didn't see Stephon back in the league
What?
again. But his story gets even crazier when in 2010, Starbury made his international debut in the Chinese Basketball Association with the Shanxi Zhongyu Brave Dragons, where he turned everything back around. In fact, Stephon went on to
Should've
have an
got the
even
blue
more
tag on the
legendary
side of his
career in
leg.
China. He carried his team to 3 championships, became an owner and a coach, and
That's
hell,
why.
even won Best New Actor at the 2017 Chinese Movie Awards. And what's ridiculous
That's
is,
dope.
this man is so popping in China, they built him a bronze statue
Bro,
and
that's fire.
created the Stephon Marbury Museum. Damn, this man Stephon is blessed. But his
Facts.
next player was cursed, because he lost something more than his NBA career, his life. See, coming out of college, Len Bias was a superstar. He averaged
Bias.
23 points per game for the University of Maryland, was a 2-time ACC Player of the Year, and a first-team All-American. People were saying Len was a franchise player, and that if he stayed focused, he could be even better than the future GOAT, Michael Jordan. So when the Celtics drafted him, they were ready to party, and so was Len. That's why a couple of days after the draft, the kid returned to his college campus to celebrate with a couple of his friends. But that night, living it up cost Len his life.
A local success story took a tragic turn this morning. Len Bias, the Maryland University basketball star on his way to becoming a world champion Boston Celtic, died of an apparent heart attack today at Leland Memorial Hospital in Prince George's County.
At just 22 years
That
old,
is so sad.
Len Bias was dead. How could someone with so much potential be gone so suddenly? Sadly, that's a question we'll be asking for the rest of
My
time.
laptop's gonna
Because
die.
one moment can change your life forever. And that's a lesson that one player needs to learn the most. I'm talking about Ja Morant. See,
We all
if
know
Ja
what
doesn't
Ja
get his
did.
act together, he might kill even
Ja
more than
Wick.
his NBA career. Yeah, at first,
This
Ja was
nigga's
known for being above the
fucking
rim,
shooter.
but now he's known for trying to be above the law,
This nigga's a
fighting a
gangster.
17-year-old in a pickup game, getting into an altercation at a mall with a security guard, and
Wow.
allegedly having someone from his car point a gun at a Pacers employee. But
wild.
I wish it stopped there, cause in 2023, Ja went live on IG from a Colorado strip club and started waving a blicky around. I mean, I don't know what the hell's wrong with this dude.
Nigga had the
Well,
blicky
some
upside
people
down.
started blaming it on his crew, saying Ja's acting like an idiot because he's hanging around with idiots. But whatever the reason, he's got to switch it up fast, cause just 2 months after he apologized, Ja was back on social media with another blicky. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. If I didn't know any better, I think Ja was sabotaging his own career.
I think he was too. He was definitely sabotaging his own career. I don't know what he was doing. Like, you're not a rapper. You're a fucking NBA basketball player. Please just stop. We know you're cool, bro. We know you're one of the coolest niggas on the planet and you have guns and you on that shit. You a cool ass nigga, bro. We know, but we really want to see you hoop, bro. Like, I really want to see you hoop. I'm tired of, I just want to see you hoop, bro. At the end of the day, like, that ass. You was one of my favorite players, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You was one of my favorite players. Besides Dame, you was one of my favorite players. And the reason why I like Dame is because Dame, like, you just don't hear shit about Dame. Like, the nigga's from fucking, where is he? He from like Oakland or something. Like, he probably really bout it. Like, but he's not doing shit like this. I mean, I understand Ja's a young nigga. And he's, but my nigga, please just stop this shit, my nigga. Please.
He's definitely paid the price, cause just a month later, he was given a 25-game suspension from the NBA, and at this point, has cost himself
light.
over $60 million. But if he isn't careful,
light.
it could cost him a whole lot
60
more.
million?
Now, as crazy as Ja's story is, it's nothing compared to Mike Tyson, cause that
we all
man
know
has
this
done it
nigga's
all.
crazy.
I'm talking fighting a New York gang leader, spending millions of dollars on pigeons,
This nigga
being
spent $1
arrested
million on a
38
pigeon?
times. His life is unlike anyone else's. So if
I
you
love
want to
Mike
hear more,
Tyson.
you need to click on this video right here. These are 20 things you didn't know about Mike
Oh
Tyson.
man, I might have to
And,
watch this, bruh.
This video's over, so you might as
I'm gonna
well
watch
click
this,
it,
bruh. No
right?
cap.
What are you doing? Click it.
So are you tired of these boring and basic?
Man, that was such a good video, man. I love all the Rebound videos, bro. They're super dope. I don't know. I'm subscribed on my main channel, but I just subscribed, you know what I'm saying? And I like the video. And I'm a comment. This is how you show love. Even though no one is going to see this, this is how you show love on YouTube. And it costs nothing. And it's free. And that's what I want you guys to do for this video. I want you guys to subscribe. I want you guys to like and leave a comment. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Rebound again. Dope ass fucking video.